would like a companion, a life partner.
You know you old. When you start talking about a companion, that's something old people do. They be like, I just want a companion. I was like, I don't ever plan to be married. I plan to take lovers and have them and have them for like 5 years at a time. I was probably like 8 or 9 or so. Which one was it? She got some doozies, but what was the I stuttered. I got
he was
trauma.
not honest.
Hello and welcome back. My name is Jamie and this is...
Hello everybody, my name is Carolyn.
And we are the hosts of Love.Truth.Wellness, a Christ-centered space where we lead with love, speak the truth without reservation, and affirm that everyone deserves to abide in wellness. So, today, which is episode 5?
Yes.
Episode 5. 5th day of Vlogmas. So just in case you're not aware, our goal is to bring you a new episode of Love, Truth, Wellness every day until Christmas, which is the 25th. So our topic for today, we're starting a new series. And it is going to be called Dating God's Way. So welcome to episode 5, Dating God's Way, part 1.
Yes, dating in these streets.
These dating streets. So how do you feel about it so far? How do you feel about this topic?
Or the topic?
Either way you want to take it.
Well, I would say I'm excited about the podcast. I feel like the Lord is going to let it grow and it's going to reach people that it needs to reach. So I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah, dating, dating is hard.
Okay, so we've broken this down into 7 parts, I think. And so this is part 1, and the theme for part 1 is expectations. So really the episode is probably called Dating Expectations. Does that make sense?
Yes,
like this episode, I'm like, you like crickets were chirping there for a minute.
I thought I heard series in that episode. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
So Dating God's Way, part 1, Dating Expectations. Okay. So we got it in order. Well, just to start off, I would say that no one, I don't think, growing up anticipates that they're going to be dating in their 40s. They'll be dating their husband or their wife, not out here looking for a mate.
No, I definitely did not expect that.
I think I did. I said no one, but to be honest, before we even just get into our 3 segments, which, we break it up: lead with love, speak the truth without reservation, and abide in wellness, with practical steps for walking out what we've discussed. Before we even get into that, we're just doing this short little intro. And I will say that pre-salvation for me, and I did get saved as a little girl, but pre-salvation, I really anticipated not being married. I did not.
So that was not your goal.
It was not my goal. And this is probably like a product of my dysfunction, the dysfunction I saw. To me, marriage was not something that was beneficial to a woman.
Yeah, something you inspired.
Yeah, it seemed like I was looking around and I'm like, it seems like the women do everything, especially in the Black community where women historically have always worked outside the home. So it's like she working and she doing everything around the house and she taking care of him. But I didn't see the benefit in it for her, especially with the marriages that were modeled before us in our household. So I honestly, this is why I say, talk to your kids. They have their own mind, their own ideals, their own truths that they have absorbed, or truths in quotation marks they have absorbed. So for me as a little girl, I was like, I'm going to have like a United Nations family. I was like, I'm going to be adopting some of my kids. I'm going to have kids by different men from different parts of the world. Really? Yes. I was like, I don't ever plan to be married. I plan to take lovers and have them and have them for like 5 years at a time. I was probably like 8 or 9 or so. You know, I read a lot. So I'm just saying that was how I was thinking and saying, you know, to just be like, I'll fall in love, but it never is anticipated. As long as it works for us. I was one of them hippie. You know, I used to want to be a hippie and I still got a little hippie in me. It's like, as long as it's working for us, as long as we love each other and care about each other, we'll be together. But if things start falling apart, we're not going to draw this thing out. We're just going to say, you know, deuces and move on to the next one. But that was my own issue. That's neither here nor there. But most people do not anticipate. They anticipate, you know, getting married sometime in their 20s and having children and being settled at this time. But the reality of the situation for us these days is that there are a vast majority of people, especially Black women, who have never been married. And then there's the other side where people are getting divorced in their 30s and 40s and they're 20s. Starting over, even 20s, and starting over in ways that they did not anticipate. So there's like a lot of single people walking around, and we walking around with a lot of baggage. So unpacking expectations, like what is your intention in dating, I think is something that should be addressed in the beginning. And then when we're talking about expectations, since this is a Christ-centered space, we're definitely going to talk about God's perspective and expectations in dating. So that was a wild little intro, wasn't it, y'all? Learned something new, didn't you? I
learned some things that I did not know.
Paramours, lovers. I was going to take lovers, okay?
I don't know why that tickles me.
I was. That's just, I'm a little extra, but.
Well, I would say my expectations were a little traditional. If I'm honest, I wanted children, so that's and you know, I felt like the only way to get children was you had to have a husband first, because I've always wanted to be a mom or a mother. I mean, it's always been in me. Like I say, you and our other sister, y'all are my children. And then I had another.
And we are like less than 3 years apart.
I felt like I think it's because our mother brainwashed us, because she said when we were growing up, in order so that there would be no jealousy, she would say, as each child came along, like she would say, this is your baby. So Jamie was my baby.
Still
and when I won't say her name, because she just paranoid that people are going to steal her name. Our youngest sister, she would tell Jamie, you know, this is your baby. So I felt like, you know, anyway, I just wanted kids. So that was the goal. I wanted to get married, but the end goal out of that was for me to have children.
So it wasn't an expectation of marriage in that, oh, I'm going to fall in love with this wonderful man that I want to spend the rest of my life with. It was like, I want to have kids. And in order to have kids, I need to be married.
And the younger me. But as I got older, of course, then, you know, you learn or you get exposed to, of course, then I want a partner. I went through many, evolutions of thoughts regarding marriage. Because at one point it was like, I think I was like, I don't think the marriage is going to last. It's like, we're not going to stay forever. It's not going to be forever. So in the end, I was like, well, I'm going to get my kids and I'm going to get out. I don't know. It was just, you know, like you say, it's part of our dysfunction because we did not have
healthiest models of marriage.
So, and then as I got older and then I matured in Christ, and then of course, then I know that I wanted a partner. And then as I got older, it was like, well, you know, you're getting past your childbearing years. So then it was just like coming to the acceptance that, you know, you're probably not going to have any kids.
That could be a whole different episode.
You know, birth any kids.
Fertility.
That is like, you know, from your own body. And then it would be like, well, I just want I would like a companion, a life partner.
You know, you old. When you start talking about a companion, that's something old people do. They're like, I just want a companion. I was ready to travel with somebody look after me in my, you know, twilight years.
Yeah, because you know, as you're younger, you're like, oh, you know, you want all the feelings and romance. It's like, once you get older, I just want somebody who and hang with me, travel with me, and have a friendship with. It just sounds like up and real old.
But like I said, it's only a few years to separate us, but when it comes to the age in our minds, I'm like, I'd rather be alone. I need passion. I need romance. I want the great love of my life. I want all of that. If I can't have it all, I'd rather have nothing at all. That's me. I ain't looking for no companion. I got plenty of people I can talk to.
Like keep touching the mic.
I'm looking for passion.
No, I still want the passion, but I want I think the friendship. I want the friendship because I'm thinking, future. Because you're not. I mean, as you get older, so, okay, well, that's wonderful. But
but then I was gonna take Paramore, so it's a whole different thing going on over here.
I'm thinking about, down the line, you still gotta have that. You gotta have that friendship. I mean, I still want to say, if I look at my husband, like, he fine. I still in my head.
And honestly, I do understand that in long-term relationships, because unfortunately, I have had some that were kind of long-term, and passion it wanes at different times, and you do need something else to
sustain.
During those times. So I will say that
because the relationships, they are cyclical. I have learned that.
Seasons.
Yeah, because I mean, there are times when you don't be like, "Ooh, I just live." Like, I can't stand it. You know what I'm saying?
Decided in
right.
Take your stomach down.
Exactly. So, but anyway, expectations.
So as you can see, even right here, we have different expectations when it comes to dating and relationships. So I think that when you enter into a dating situation, you should define your expectations from the beginning to see that if you're on the same page, if you're moving in the same direction, if you're compatible, if you have the same goal, because some people could be like me when I was younger. They're never looking to settle down. And some people could be, I'm settling down with the purpose of procreation. And you could be dealing with someone who's like, I'm not really trying to have kids or trying to have any more kids. So we always do our segments, lead with love. How do you enter into a dating relationship and set forth your expectations in a way that reflects God's love for the other person and for yourself and for the Lord?
I mean, I think you should always lead with honesty.
Before you even go further in that was the whole thing right there. Lead with honesty. People often say that people come into dating relationships with their representative. So how do you, of course, you want to put your best foot forward. That's just duh. Like, you don't want to come out busted and everything. But you also want to be authentic and honest with who you are. So where's the balance in that? Because I know in both of our dating experiences we've had, because we are compassionate people and we listen, people come out the gate like trying to have a therapy session on a first date. And that's not
about.
That ain't the move, you know?
Yeah.
And so you say be honest, but there's somebody that's listening or watching that are like, I've been honest. And they don't understand that maybe you were just too honest.
I don't think you need to tell your whole life story on the first date. But okay, let me give an example. Okay, you say like maybe you're a woman or a man with 4 kids. I think you should let the person know I have children. That should be something that you live with, because that's part of your identity. You're going to come with these 4 children. If the relationship is to be pursued further, the children are going to be part of your life. So I think that's something you should know up front. At 6 months down the line, I shouldn't find out that I got 4 kids.
That's a lie of omission.
Yeah.
Basically, so that's not being honest at all. That's a lie of omission.
I mean, an instance like
that.
But
you acting like I'm trying to lead with love. I think that's why the Lord put that in, because I'm real feisty and I can just get real guttural. But these days, it seems like a man wants to talk to you or message you, text message you for 50 years, finding out all this stuff before they even invest the time and or financial resources to even take you out somewhere to have those conversations, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
I see from their perspective that they can't just be out here spending money willy-nilly on women that are not interested in them. But at the same time, it's like, dude, if you can't afford, and I don't expect like fine dining and everything, you know, I'm not a costly date, but if you struggling like that, or you that stingy that you want to know everything up front before you even go on a date. So we're talking about expectations. We can get into that the next. Let's focus on the honesty, and then we can get into the other parts of the nuances of dating.
But yeah, I think you should be honest. Like, my intention, I'm dating. I'm not dating because my expectation or intention in dating is I am looking to find a mate. I'm looking to find a husband. Yes, someone that I want to marry. So if you're not about that life, then we can move on.
Excuse me.
And so I'm not saying, I don't say at the like, you just say, well, what kind of, are you looking for a relationship? There's this one dating app. I haven't really been on it. I've been on it, but I haven't been.
Don't really even mention dating apps to me. I'm traumatized.
I like that they have it categorized. I can't remember exactly how they categorize it, but it's like, basically, I'm out here looking for a husband or a wife, or I'm out here just looking for a casual. Excuse me. I think it's casual, long-term relationship, or I'm looking for a husband or a wife. I think those are the categories, and I think I'd like that they separate it like that, because you do have some people out here. Some people just like to date because, you know, they got their own thing going on. They're not looking for anything serious. Casual. They just like, you know, I just want somebody to go to dinner with, the movie or whatever.
Or even, I know I'm not on the apps any longer. I am. God gonna have to send him another way. But I know when I was on there, one thing that I noticed was that oftentimes men seem to be on there to have their egos boosted. Like, the reason they're on the apps is that maybe they're not confident enough to approach women in IRL, in real life, or just as they're out about their business, or most likely they're just coming out of a relationship or a divorce and their esteem is low and they need to be built back up, or even if they're in a relationship or a marriage and they sneaking up on them apps because they feel like something is lacking in their relationship. So the expectations, you're right, you need to define them from the beginning. But I don't know if it fits in right here or if it should be a different episode or topic, but how do you expose the intentions of others? Because everybody's not coming with honesty.
That's true.
People are deceptive. People have ulterior motives. So how do you unveil that so that you know this is somebody who's meeting my expectations or has the potential or the desire, the same expectations as me, or if they're just mirroring or telling me what I want to hear?
Well, I think that's where you have to rely on the Holy Spirit and, you know, the spirit of discernment. Because, I mean, dating in my 20s, I didn't date a lot, but it was different from dating in my 30s and now dating in my 40s. In my 20s, you know, a guy will see you at the grocery store, on the street, gas
Back in
station.
the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Right? But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. People don't just approach in grocery stores and malls or gas stations and whatnot.
I mean, they will see you out. They like the way that you look or like the way that you carried yourself, and they would approach and be like, you know, and they would say, you know, how are you? You know, like, can I take you out, or can I get your number?
I remember one time this dude rode as smooth as could be. He was dressed nice, and I think I ran into the grocery store for something for Mama, and he was like, "Well, you know, I like how you know, like you said, you know, you seem like a lady, and I don't normally do this, but here's my business card and everything." And I was young, I was like, "Yo, business card?" And I was telling Mama, like, she said, "Girl, you better call that man." Exactly. I did not. I should have listened to her, but he was smooth. It was a nice approach. Now, if somebody like that approached me these days, I'm like, okay, this is a grown man.
And it's different. Well, you have different. You're old to be.
Sometimes I sit and wish.
Like, I haven't had a man approach me like that since, what year is this?
Oh, Lord. She said, what year is it?
I think the last time a man approached me like that was like in, 2018, 19, where it would just saying like, how are you? I would like to, pre-pandemic. That's the last time somebody approached me like that. Just straight out. I went out with him. You know what happened?
I remember. Which one was it? She got some doozies, but what was the
He was not honest. He was not honest.
He was not. Yes. So you went in. I know you gangster. You go in. You lay down your expectations from the jump, and what he was doing was just agreeing with you and acting like that's how he was. So how did he expose himself?
Well, it was okay. So we went out a couple of times, and then we were supposed to go out again, but he kept like canceling or coming up with some kind of excuse, and it was like. I mean, I'm not the kind of person like you ain't got to have a lot of money. Like you say, you don't have to wine and dine me, but it's like, no, our dates are not just going to consist of you coming over my house and hanging out. I don't do that. Especially when we're just getting to know each other.
It ain't that type of party. No reply if you ain't somebody. I don't know why all these old texts coming. I don't know. It's just how I'm feeling.
But yeah, it was in the end, because I know you don't always need closure. I need closure. I
have learned to accept that closure is not something that everyone is capable of providing.
That's true, but I always want to know why. So we had came out.
Curiosity killed the cat.
It came out. I mean, he just admitted that he didn't have his money together. He said, I saw you were a nice lady, and he just presented himself like he had this together, or like he felt like he needed to present himself. But I mean, he was living with his sister. Which he had told me that, but
we was living together at the time. You had a roommate situation going too.
But like this is a totally different situation. But it just came out that he was not.
So. He assumed, based upon how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, that you had certain expectations. So he assumed that you were a woman, because there are a lot of people, I won't just say women, even men these days, they have a certain salary or financial threshold you need to be at before they will consider dating you, which we can get into that in a minute. But he assumed that this is what I have to present to be with you, when your thinking was, okay, if he's a man that has a job, you need to be working, and is paying his own way, it wouldn't have mattered to you how much that job paid or where he was living. It could have been a studio apartment. So he made assumptions based upon your expectations. That's why people got to really communicate and present themselves as they are, because
I was a homer, at the time. And I don't know, just, they think these things, but it was like, I was working 2 jobs.
Well, let the people know you was a homeowner at the time, and you sold your house. You didn't lose your house.
I lose my house. I sold my house. I sold my house, but I was at a season where I was struggling. I was working 2 jobs.
Because you had been in an accident, or your car kept breaking down. What was it? It's like a lot of unexpected things happening.
I think I had just gotten my master's degree, and I was working some job, but I was very unhappy. And so I had quit that job and worked another one, but I needed to supplement because I wasn't making as much money as I was. So I was working.
Kind of like the situation I'm in now. True.
So I was working at a department store. That's where we met. He saw me in a parking lot, working in the department store. I think at that time.
And like, riddle me this. You were working retail at a department store. So how much...
I don't know.
Could you have been making?
Right.
And you didn't say you were like upper level management or corporate level. You were a retail sales clerk.
My cousins that helped me out. Something's going on with my car.
They loaned you your car.
And I told them.
That reminds me. I wanted to shout out, because we're talking about wellness, their podcast. Aaron and Miranda, what is it called?
I want to say
these are our cousins.
I have to look it up.
And she's a nurse practitioner.
They changed the name. Yeah, so
but I'll try to link it. But she's a nurse practitioner, and she talks about health issues that are prevalent in African American communities, and tries to give us practical tips for navigating those conditions. So, sorry, we digress.
But yeah, so there was something going on with my car, and I couldn't I couldn't afford to get it fixed. So bless their heart, they let me. They had an extra car. So I was driving that car, and I didn't lie about it. I was like, yeah, this is my cousin's car. Like, I was bragging on my family. Like, yes, my family, they helped me out and all this stuff. I mean, he was a very nice guy. I just think the dishonesty kind of threw me off, because then you started questioning.
You don't know whatever.
What else you lying about?
And then it speaks to your value and self-worth, what you focus on, what's important to you, or what you think matters as a person. Like, our values don't align at this point, because you would never try to be dishonest. And then instead of just saying,
well, I don't have it, we don't, let's not go out. It was like, you got to pick a fight or just
playing mind games.
Yeah, I was like, I can't, I don't do with that.
I know you don't, girl.
Not at all, because I can't stand the manipulation and all that. I will not put up with that at all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a long story,
but that's what we're here for. So as we unpack these different topics, we will intersperse them with our own personal anecdotes to give a clear picture of what's been going on. So honesty is first, and then we were going to talk about how do you know how much to disclose, and you were going into that comes to the Holy Spirit and discernment.
Yes. And because I don't know, I think, because what does it say? A lot of people say when you're dating and you're gathering data, you're gathering information, so it's supposed to be an even exchange of information. I mean, typically your first date, you're trying to get to know each other, or you have already communicated. Maybe you've been texting, you've been talking on the phone, and you have, it's just like if you're getting to know a person. Like if I met you at work or whatever,
friend,
you know, how many kids do you have? Have you, are you married? Well, if you're dating, but have you been married before? Or what are your what I don't know. I get kind of deep, because like I say, I'm 46 years old, so I ain't got time to play. So I ask questions like, what are your expectations out of marriage? Do you want to get married?
This is one thing.
Real deep.
Because I have been on the other side of this. I know people say that dating is gathering information, but
not the first date, but after we've had a few conversations.
But I don't know if you recognize, like, you like gangster, yes. You probably had a brother sweating. There's a way to go about the gathering of information. Sometimes it's not always a direct question. Sometimes it's observation. And I think that also people put too much weight on dates. Like you're not about to go down the aisle with this person, maybe ever, but definitely not tomorrow. And I think that weight, that pressure, which is what causes people to crack, and why they're so eager to please, and I want to give the right answer instead of just saying, this is me, this is who I am, take it or leave it. I'm more a person. I am a woman, and we file away everything, and I got memory problems. But when it comes to these Negroes,
you got it. In the back of your head.
I go through that Rolodex, and it all comes forward. Okay, I keep it, that information. But one thing about me, and I think this is why I'm able to glean so much information from the men that I've dated, is that I can be playful in my gathering. Like I can be flirtatious, but I'm taking notes. I'm watching how you handle yourself. I'm watching how you speak to the waitress. I'm watching how you treat people that you think are lesser, could be perceived as lesser than you. I'm following away when you said A to one question this time. I might weeks later circle back and ask the question and see is your answer aligning, because one thing liars don't do is keep their lies straight. So, and then also I have learned, and this is just in general, is that people need to earn your truth and your intimacy, because we're leading with love. You also have to love yourself, and loving yourself means protecting yourself. So you can't just spill everything to everybody. You have to test them. You have to try people, give them a little bit and see how they handle that before you really give them things that are truly intimate knowledge of you. And what would be a good example I'm trying to think of an example of that. So let's say, like you just have some kind of conflict at work, and it's a minor conflict, and you're just talking to him about it. See how he reacts. Does he automatically like go off the handle? He got your back, everything, bam, 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 yeah. Or does he say, well, let's look at it another way? Does he offer other perspectives and saying, well, maybe this? Does he, when asked, offer some solutions to you? And that's the way.
Or does he show any interest at all?
At all? Because a lot of them are like,
that's
and they change
and then they move on.
Exactly. So you understand their level of emotional intelligence and empathy. And that way, if something deep happens or has happened in your past, you might be like, this is not someone I can go to in times of emotional turmoil or crisis, because they are not equipped, or they have shown me they don't have the capacity to engage with me on that level. And if that type of engagement is something that's important to you, then you can kind of put them into the friend side, because emotional intimacy is something that's important to you in a romantic relationship. That's what I've learned. You like that? That's good.
They say, sure, that's good. That's good.
And have we talked about expectations enough when it comes to leading with love and expectations?
Well, with truth and wellness.
Well, we haven't moved on. We haven't moved on to the truth. Oh, that would be the word of God. Okay. And how he. You don't know the segments of our show? Girl, oh my gosh. Y'all, I'm producer, director, creative director, production, editing, post-production.
I'm the talent.
The talent need to keep up. The talent need to know the segments of the show. So we were discussing leading with love when it comes to dating expectations. And I also want to offer something, for the brothers out there, because this is, we do have a biased perspective. We
are women, yes.
But I think that when you were talking earlier about the man with the financial struggles, I think that leading with love in this area would be being mindful as women that if you really don't have an interest in this man, don't just be like, girl, it's a free meal, just going out just so you don't have to be at home when you're not interested.
That's not right.
It's not right. And I think that maybe they have been taken advantage of frequently. And that's why some of them be cheaping out.
Yeah, they want to take you to
coffee,
Starbucks,
or they want to go to Starbucks.
Not even you have your beverage.
Meet you, thank you.
You gonna get some?
No, that would be a wrap for me. Like you gonna at least. I'm almost to the point where I ain't trying to meet you for no coffee. If you can't, if you can't give me a meal, brother, and you when you approach me, so you saw this. You don't want to be.
What was that list? Somebody.
No, I like to eat.
Was it on Facebook or YouTube? Some list. Somebody, if you want to take me to, it was like a long list. I don't want to go out with nobody. Like they don't want to go Red Lobster, or it was just something crazy.
Cheddars and stuff. They ain't trying to do no chain restaurant.
Right, no chain restaurants. I guess they want to be flued out and
flued out.
I want you to take them to like, I know, for a 5-star, probably look like
Michelin,
the way they let
Michelin stars.
Michelin
3? How many stars is Michelin?
I don't know. I ain't never been in one.
You sure? I thought we had.
Not that I can recall.
That wasn't a Michelin.
That was a Michelin.
When we was with our bougie family. That wasn't a Michelin.
It might have been, but we only want to go to Michelin rated restaurants. And,
like weekend getaways and Barbados and everything.
Yes.
So I do think leading with love in this area would be being honest. And if you don't feel that potential with this person, don't waste their time or your time. And don't waste their resources or your resources, because guess what's expensive? Makeup, perfume, clothes, your gas, your especially these days. Thank you. All that costs. So don't waste all that on somebody you're not interested in. And then also, I think that even having grace for the brothers that have been traumatized, like don't lower your expectations, but try to understand why they might be hesitant to do the most for somebody when they've been hurt before by people taking advantage of them. Right. And I think you can tell the difference between he's just a broke, cheap Negro, and he's just somebody that's like, I've learned to. And then if he's doing it for everybody, do you really feel special?
Right.
Because there's some people, they got all the ends in the world and it's nothing for them to do that stuff for you. It doesn't mean that they're that much more into you. It just means like, this is what I do. And that's something I don't like. Don't just do what you have done and assume that that's what I want, because I'm a whole different, you ain't never had one like me. I'm going to tell you that right now. You need to get to know me and what I like.
Your wants.
And not what your checklist, your protocol is, what has worked from you in the past. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to fly, brother. But that's neither here nor there. So anything else you want to unpack before we move on to the next segment?
I don't believe so.
So, and then as always, put in the comments if you've had some wild dating stories, such as Carolyn has. I mean, I've had my share too. I'm just not getting into them right now.
I've had a lot.
Y'all saw me stuttering.
I could write a book.
Yeah, I think many people could write a book about these dating debacles. Leave in the comments any stories you've had, advice on expectations in dating, and if you're married and watching this, what has worked for you in the past, what was helpful to you in choosing your spouse. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. That's all the time we have today on this topic. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Love, Truth, Wellness. Join us tomorrow for part 2.